Hey, welcome back to ShredMentor Live. I'm your host, Jason Aaron Wood, and tonight we're going to be turning musical creativity into a little bit of a game, or introducing aspects of gaming into the creative process. So you can say goodbye to writer's block, because honestly, most of the time writer's block is really choice paralysis. There's just too many damn things you could possibly be doing. At some point, you're just going to freeze up, because how can you possibly make a choice when there's so many different things? There's what rhythmic subdivision, what kind of rhythm pattern are you going to use, what time signature are you going to do that in, what key are you going to do it in, what variation of that kind of scale are you going to do it in, which mode are you going to do it in, what chord progression are you going to follow. There's endless things, really. There's so many little facets of music that it's very easy to reach that point very, very quickly. Let's bring up the chat so I don't miss you guys, but please let me know in the comments that you can hear me, because that would be a shame if not. But I'm going to show you some different things that I've got set up tonight. In fact, you know what? Better yet, I think I'm going to just go right on over to Guitar Practice Tools so that we have my browser up, and I'll just start here. This is something that is, I honestly never hear anybody talk about gamifying musical creativity, or gamifying anything to do with music, really, outside of Guitar Hero, which is mostly all game and very little real musical development, maybe some timing to give it some, to be fair. But what I've got here is actually, I'm going to start with the first chronological thing here that I came up with, and it came to me in a dream, very literally. In 2017, I kind of dreamed that I was using dominoes as rhythmic criteria, and then I woke up and I'm like, wait, that's viable. That could totally work. So I went out and I bought I didn't even own any dominoes at the time. I just had it in my dream, and so got this nice little box. But I ended up, just grabbing a box of dominoes, and the concept was simply, I'm afraid of the box opening all that, but basically just kind of grab them at random, and you have some numerical values right away. So I like to just grab 2 and see what we got. And looks like I've got 2 sets of 4 and a 3 and a 6. Okay, well, that's actually very lucky. And I assure you that was really truly random. I can't even see down here. There's not a lot of light except it's shining in my face from the screen changer here, my MIDI buttons. So rhythmically speaking, that's pretty straightforward. That's pretty much like 8th notes or 16th notes. 4, 1 E and a 2 E and a, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And this is a 3 and a 6, which is kind of like 1 triplet, 2 and triplet, or I don't even know how you count sextuplets, but 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3, right? So that was the concept, and I kind of mapped out some essential basic rules for it back in 2017 when I first thought it up, or literally dreamed it up. Anyway, happened in my brain, my idea, whatever. So anyway, I think that immediately that week, every one of my students experience this as a concept. Here's the thing, okay? What this is doing is, the aspect of the game is actually, you don't even, if it being a game does not appeal to you or add any interest other than maybe getting you to tune in and hear me out here tonight, think of it as a tool, because what we're really doing, this is the core of anything. If you want to make this work to your advantage, all we need to do here, the secret to making this a game or a tool, is to add randomization to one or more aspects of your decision making. All right, remember I said choice paralysis is more often the reason for writer's block. Yes, we think I'm not coming up with any ideas, but you can come up with ideas, you just probably don't like them. So the things that you're thinking of that happen to be popping into your head right now just aren't satisfying you. So you need to get the hell out of your own head. Now, I will point out something here while we're still here. Aside from rhythmic dominoes, because all that really does is that takes the rhythmic criteria out of your head. You can just grab one domino and use this as a concept, like the 3 and 6 thing. Okay, I'll do 3, then 6. Use a 1. Right, that's 3, then 6. It's asking to be, basically 1 square, or 1/2 of 1 domino is 1 beat. Okay, so this is probably 16th notes then, right? If we, you have to sort of assume a certain thing is going to be true. Just came up with some basic rule and let this randomize one aspect of your decision making. So this is where the first concept for gamifying musical decisions started with me. It wasn't long before I realized, of course, that, you know, where have we seen these symbols before? Dice. A domino is basically just 2 dice. You grab a random domino, it's just like you just rolled 2 dice. So that works just fine if you have dice around. If you happen to own a single board game, you probably have at least 1 die, if not more than 1 dice, in your possession. Same thing. Roll. In fact, if you only have 1, just roll it twice, and now you've got 2 bits of criteria. I didn't even think into what this could also be, though. These could be modes. These could be phrase length in total. Grab 2 of these. Let's see, what do we got? 6 and 3 is 9, plus 8 is 17. You know what that is? That's 16 plus 1. That's actually just a 4/4 measure of 16th notes plus a final note. Ta-da! I could ignore the numbers individually however I want, you know, or I could use this as a polyrhythms experiment. 1E and a 1 triplet, 1E and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so, so let me get an actual beat going here, which is where this comes in. Let me not do 16th notes, though. Let's just do a straight kick and snare. Kick and snare only. Sorry, that's what that one's called. So I'll go on the slower side so I have room to go with sextuplets here. Let's do 100. So 16th. All right, triplets. And then sextuplets would be, so, all right, that's tough, right? 1E and a 1 triplet, 1E and a 1 and 2 at the end. Yeah. Hard to do only once, so let's do it for 2 beats, or let's do it 4 each first. Just use it as a thing to cycle through. All right, I'm purposely doing it from one domino to the next. So 4 to 3, then 4 to 6. Different ways of subdividing the beat. Still rhythmic, sure. Let's see something here real quick. Oh yeah, so. 4 and 6. 4, 3, 4, 6. Right, then 2 beats each, so. Right. Anyway, it's a nice polyrhythmic experiment that you could do there too. So anyway, we're anything that you could apply numbers to, and it could be a list that you yourself made, can be something that you can use various things that generate numbers to just offload some of that decision making. And anyway, as I was about to say a moment ago, while I'm here with the guitar practice tools loaded up, I'm going to point out something else that it's not really a game, it's a toy. It's a tool, rather. And it's a toy. No, it's my favorite toy. Guitar practice tools. The practice randomizer is another example where I used randomization to offload some of the things and primarily to get outside of my own head. This tool actually started as a, well, it was a, let's see, where the hell is it? Somewhere down here. Yeah. PDF practice chart. Okay. And let's see what happens if I open it. Yeah. Okay. Really, really tiny ass writing, which is why it needed to take another form. But basically I had types of scales down this column. Types of scales and arpeggios in this case, but meaning like 2-note per string patterns and 3-note per string, more like fretboard patterns. It's not so much whether they're scales or not, but 2-note per string fretboard patterns down the columns here, or 3-note per string, or I didn't add to 4-note per string, but now I can. And then across here are different sequences. All right, so it's a way to use them in musical ways. So anyway, I would just, the way I used to use it when it first was thought of was still randomization, but I would just look away, put my finger on the page, look at where it intersects, and play that combination. And you'd be amazed how many different things, as somebody who wrote the book of sequences myself and who knows all the scales that are on this site, I didn't really think to use a lot of the combinations that were coming up. I just kind of had been leaning toward using ones that, using the scale with the sequence that I probably figured out the sequence with, you know, and never tried doing something else. So let's go back, let's take a look at that random combination there. Let's go back up here. That is the 2-note per string augmented triad, okay? And we have the 5-note 8-beat loop. Okay, not really a game, just a tool. And it's a very useful tool because I have not done that before. Right here you're seeing it live. I have never taken the 2-note per string approach to the augmented scale, and I used G, partially just so I was low enough on the fretboard, but also partially because G augmented is the 3rd mode, or basically the chord that goes with the 3rd mode of E harmonic minor. So still kind of try to stick with E minor, but I use G in place of the normal G major. E minor is the relative minor of G major, so when you go harmonic minor, that G major isn't a G major anymore, it's a G augmented. So anyway, sorry, side note on theory there, but anyway, so I need 1, 2, 3, 4. Surprisingly, despite the big stretches and leaps, it's actually really playable. So anyway, that's a fun one. I tried 2 different places. And then, you know, some other final note. So anyway, that is another way that you could kind of use randomization. All right, so I just wanted to kind of point that out. This is not the first time I've used randomization, and it just wanted to show it has given rise to a one particular practice tool. Okay, so there's that one there too. All right, that's if you already have access to this and you've never used that particular practice tool, because unless I point you to it, I have a feeling that you might only just use the practice beats and the guitar practice whiteboard. Try out the practice randomizer, especially if you're already using some sequences. It's an excellent way to get out of your own head, and I made it, and I'm still getting outside of my own head 31 years into playing. Can't recommend it enough, but it's not the same. It's not the tool for all the time. None of this is something, nothing you do should be what you do all the time. There you go. There's the lesson of a lifetime right there. Don't do anything the same way all the time, because that's you're not firing the new synapses. You're strengthening the same ones, but you're not exploring anything new. You're not really expanding your comfort zone. You're just getting better at that one thing, that one way. So you need to change up at least how you play certain things how you approach them. All right. So anyway, because I've already shown you rhythmic dominoes, and we don't need to see that anymore. We've already got the practice randomizer tool. Yeah. I've already shown you this. This is one concept. You can take a peek at the screenshot it if you want, whatever. That's one way you can do it. So if you have dominoes in the house, that's one way you can do it. Just grab a couple. I don't allow myself to take up any more floor space with a music stand, but I would just put it right on the music stand and just make a big old row. And, you know, sometimes it's really hard, you know. Sometimes it's really boring. Like if you pull up that's boring as hell. Dun, dun. But you know what? Sometimes that's what it calls. Sometimes quarter notes, or maybe they're even whole notes or half notes. Depends on what you want to interpret that as. That's what's nice about this. It's making part of the decision for you, and you can kind of decide what you want. Oh, one thing I did say here about how dominoes are essentially just dice. One thing that they have beyond dice is a blank. There is one extra value on dominoes that you don't get with dice, which is 0. Which is nice. It could be either a rest, again, for just talking in rhythm here, it can be a rest, or it could be a held out note. Hey Mike, welcome man, good to see you. So we're just talking about ways to interpret this, because, you know, let's face it, I'm making this shit up as I go here, but it is, you know, no, not totally. I mean, this part was sort of sorted out 5.5 years ago, May of 2017, when I had that dream. But anyway, if you have dice, you can basically do the same thing. Now, what you can also do, though, this is something that kind of made me decide, yeah, I want to return to this topic here. Something I've been thinking about for 2 years, ever since I kind of got into 3D printing, because I was looking at making my own, but polyhedral dice. So if you have you know, basically, I'm not a gamer, you know, but we have this neat little store at my local mall here called Mind Games, which I just thought was pretty cool. So I'm showing you the bag because I still have it sitting there. But I got a little tube of these for $5, and I think it's kind of neat because I've been thinking about making my own. I just found it a little bit complicated in Blender, and then more complicated to print it out on my 3D printer. And how about I just buy some cheap-ass ones that look cool at my local mall? So, of course, with a set like this is a set of 7. I think they make more complicated ones, but there's a lot of stuff that if you're not used to polyhedral dice, that you know, well, of course, you're always going to have your 6-sided one. This one does me the favor of actually having the number. And the typical thing with this, by the way, is since this will only have 6 sides, it's no guess what that number really is. That's 6. But some of these have more than 9 sides, so they always put a dot or a line under it if it's a 6 or a 9, either way, so that you know which one you're looking at. But anyway, so you can, like I said, you can just, that's a 6. So now I can do a lot of things, really. Here's what I could do. All right, here's a couple things. All right, aside from rhythmic things, because I think that's already been well established. I can do everything I just described in the rhythmic dominoes concept with dice. Okay, if I need more than one value, I'll just roll the dice again. Now, here's what else is kind of cool. Okay, especially with regular die. Grab your nearest board game. If you only have 1 die in the house, that's enough. You just need to roll it twice. You know what's nice about 6? 2 6s is 12, and that's how many chromatic notes we have. So you can pick a key too. You can go out and pick your favorite type of scale based on that root note. So pick a root note. Okay. To me, I start at A because that's the beginning of the alphabet. And yes, there's B flat or whatever, but go chromatically up. 1 equals A, and then just use your A string as the concept, as the starting point. Okay. And so roll the dice twice. There is 2, and there is 2 again. So 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, so no, actually no. It would be C. A, 2, 3, 4. C. I like minor, so it's going to be C minor. Oh, and then I'll roll it again and see what my rhythm's going to be. 5. Oh, crap. All right, so I'm going to do some odd time in C minor. So anyway, see, just a couple of little extra bits of criteria taken off my plate. Let somebody else deal with that, or something else deal with that, right? And that's just a 6-sided cubical die that it's in your house somewhere. You dig it up or buy some. You know, I just saw a pack of them for like $6 for like 10 of them. You can go crazy with that. But anyway, so 6 is half of 12. We have 12 chromatic tones. Anytime you have something with 6 or 12, you can choose a key. We're going to see that come up a few times. Mike says, love the concept. It's actually genius status. Thanks, man. And it was purely, as I said earlier, I don't know if you caught it, but it was literally a dream. I had a dream in 2017 where I was using dominoes as rhythmic criteria and woke up and like, that could work. And I went and bought some dominoes. I'm like, all right. And so everybody that week got a lesson involving that. So here's where polyhedral dice are neat. And I've never owned any, so this is all a little bit new to me, and I've been kind of mapping out what this could be. All right, so this is probably what I'm going to spend more of the time in this session talking about. And I even drew out some stuff here just to think of some things. It makes me realize I don't really know the names of these polyhedrons, and I'm not going to get into it, and I won't assume. If you know them, awesome, but I'll just say how many sides there are to them. And I'll just kind of leave my notes there where I can kind of glance at them. So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to assume you're not familiar with them, and I apologize to those of you who are already familiar with this. This will be nothing new to you, but to me, this is new. This is just like a pyramid shape. Okay, it is a 4-sided die. But I thought what was really cool. This is a three note per string guitar player, like godsend. 1, 2, 4. Whoops. 1, 3, 4. That's 2, 3, 4. And somewhere there's a 1, 2, 3 on here. What the hell is it? There's 1, 2, 3. Finger combinations. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? That's sort of asking for it. It could be a few other things too. It could be I guess you could use chords. I don't know. I was immediately thinking finger combinations. So doing, okay, so I'll roll it. It points straight up. What do you do there? Hold on. I'm gonna grab whatever's at the bottom then. 1, 2, 4. Let's work out that finger combination. So that could be a bunch of stuff. Let's look at different shapes. Okay, so we have a half step, whole step. Sort of the 1 finger per fret default for that, right? So since I'm just gonna let that be the sequence. Oops. Let's go over here. Beats. And let's go with 16th notes. Or, I could roll another die. Let's see what we got. Nah, for 16th notes. I'm not going to get too many layers in. I'm just going to look at the possibilities for each one real quick as we go on here. But let's just, it's 160. All right, great. Now, what if I start changing the interval spacing here? All it has to be is these 3 fingers, right? So let's space out. Let's bring up the pinky a little bit. These are friendly when they're a half step apart, but we're not going to stay there. But I'm going to start moving the pinky further and further out. So let's try that. Let's do the harmonic minor equivalent of basically the 5, 6, and raise 7. So I'm in A harmonic minor now. All right, let's go up to A. Yeah, that's tricky at 170. All right, so anyway, yeah. Now let's spread out a little further. Let's do like a more minor pentatonic. I'm gonna go from the top down. I think. For why not? Let's 160 again. So. All right. Anyway, that's one way you can kind of randomize that kind of thing, and we can go even further. Interesting, kind of sort of like a Mixolydian kind of 7. Yeah, it's like it's dominant, no 5, basically. It's a root, 3rd, no 5th, and the 7, which I'm hitting in the lower octave. So it's a 7, no 5 arpeggio. 2, 3, 4. And I suppose if I went higher up the fretboard, I could probably do a little bit of note replacement too. So let's say so yeah, a lot of cool kind of stuff like that. I got the dice from a store in the mall near me called Mind Games, but you can get this. You can look up polyhedral dice. Frankly, Amazon would be the first place to go. Just go with the lowest price and the coolest looking ones because they're yours. They should look cool. And I thought this was a neat like purple blue kind of thing. I don't know how well you can see that, but anyway, looks really cool. This one's fun because it's got 12. So anyway, that's what this one, to me, that's all I could think of. This was just asking to be a finger combination for a 3-note per string. And I think the 2, 3, 4 combination is really, really intriguing because, I think it's really easy to get really dependent on your first finger. Making these 3 fingers kind of go without a safety net, that first finger being the safety net, is really, really cool. So real quick, I'll just demonstrate that one. But I'm moving on from the 4-sided pyramid type die. But it just comes in a set of 7, and this happened to be like $5. There were other ones there that were $10, and I was about to not buy any, and I was like, oh, whoa, nope, those are 5, and those look cool as hell. So I just went with it. You can look all over the internet, and you will find them. People make them out of like metal, and there's badass looking ones actually. So I mean, depends on how much you want to put into it. These are typically used for like role playing and like really in depth, the kinds of board games that are frankly They have too many rules for me. And I do want to say here, okay, what we're kind of doing, again, we're sort of making a game out of our creativity, about some of our creative decisions. I do want to say that since I just, acknowledge that I find games that have too many rules, where I have to spend an hour reading them, trying to understand them, I don't find that fun. And so what you are essentially doing is creating a certain set of rules. Make sure that they are minimal enough to keep it fun for you, because the point here is to keep this fun and a little bit more of an exploratory type of vibe in how you're going to approach things, just once in a while, So if you bog yourself down with too many rules that it's hard to keep track of, you're not going to do it. So keep it minimal. Just pick one thing that you want to purposely randomize, okay? Or maybe two. Then we can you can combine them a bit later on. I'm going to go with the 12-sided die. 10. Okay, so let's see. All right, 12. We already talked about that. You can just roll the die, the single, typical 6-sided die twice and get that. But 10, okay, that could be a key, which is, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. F sharp. All right, now what I could also do, there is an 8-sided die. All right, I'm going to use that for a mode. And Aeolian will be the first mode, okay? 8, maybe I'll use harmonic minor, just so I have an extra thing. Because if I land on 1 or I land on 8, it would actually just be 1 again. So just to give it a different thing, I'll use natural minor and its modes for 1 through 7, and I'll use harmonic minor for 8. Again, just make up your own rules. No one else is talking about this shit. So let's see what we got. 3. So it's going to be Ionian. F sharp Ionian. Now, this one, this one's 20-sided. I think that's nice for phrase length. Oh, it's bumping into my pen here. All right, 12. Oh, I love it. Oh, that couldn't have gone better. 12. Okay. So, F sharp, Ionian, 12. All right. So I just need something to be 12. All right. So I'll go to F sharp. And an immediate way to get 12, if you're going to do 3 notes per string, is play it on 4 strings. So that's a quick way that I'm just randomizing just little pieces of my decision making, right? So that can be basically, I played it as triplets first, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet, and then I gave it a call and response, different ending, 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet, 4 triplet. Just went to the high note of the previous string instead of the high note of the string I'm on. Right, so options, right? Then I could also do 16th notes in 3/4, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and yeah. No. Yeah, that would be a nice final note. Moving up to the 5, so the Mixolydian. Something like that, maybe, right? And if you don't like the mode, go again, So 3. Let's just pick the 8-sided one here again. 7. It could be F sharp Mixolydian now. No. Yeah. Anyway, there's a lot of different ways you can go with it, right? Okay, so this is a fun one here. Am I missing one now? No, I'm not. Okay, so this is where we want to get maybe a little bit more extreme here. I'm going to keep all these handy because I think these are nice. I like them, the ones that have more than 6 sides, because we can start to get it into other numbers that mean other things. All of them can mean something rhythmic, pretty much. Maybe you might have a hard time with the 1, 4, 3 kind of thing. I don't know. What does that add up to? 1 plus 4 plus 3 is 8. 1 plus 2 plus 4 is 7. 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 9. You could sum them up and look at that as a rhythmic concept, or number of modes, or type of chord, maybe. Yeah, if it adds up to 8, just do it like an octave, or a root fifth octave kind of thing. 1, 2, 3, that is 6. So you could use like a 6th chord or a minor 6th chord. Yeah, I'm just looking for different ways to interpret these. And I have some more fun with interpretation for our next gaming method. Oh, that's great, Mike. Good. I really think it's super cool. It just I love new ways to explore things, and yeah, to me this is a lot more fun. So now this one, all right. These are neat because they're 10-sided, but there's 2 of them, all right. And here's what I came up with for this one. One of them has multiple, well, 2 digits. And actually, the lowest one on here is 00. Okay, and the highest value on here is 90. So you get basically like anything from 0 to 90 here, and then you have another one that has it's also 10-sided but only has single digits, and that's so between these two you can get between 0 and 99, or wait, let's see, maybe it was 0 and 9. So yeah, you can get between 0 and 99 on here. So you combine them, and if you want to get really crazy with the phrase length, all right, 28. Okay, here's a little trick with rhythm, by the way. When you arrive at a number, okay, here, and this is not the game, this is just my thinking, what I typically do. I always take whatever that is and subtract 1, and that's actually the number I'm going for. This is actually how many notes I will play. This is just going to be a final note added on. So instead of 28, which is what this came out to be just now, I'm going to do 27. And now I'm going to look for the nearest, what's the most immediate set of multiples? 27, to me, that's 3 times 9. I'm going to do 3 sets of 9. All right, so I'm just going to go really simple here with harmonic minor scale. Yeah, let's pick our key based on that. 6. That would be D minor from A. Is it 6? Yeah, there's a dot at the bottom. 6. So that's D minor. D harmonic minor. So I'm just going to do 9, which is 3 notes per string times 3, but I'll do it 3 times. Oh, nope. That was A harmonic minor. All right. And then maybe that. Maybe that. Or maybe I'll just come back to the root note. Root note. All right, so that is a quick way you could kind of get there, but that's a little bit boring. So let's try it in 3 separate modes. All right, so let's look at it. Let's play the neighboring modes. Oh, let's see. Better yet, harmonic minor, since I just randomly picked that's the scale I felt like doing it with. What's kind of nice is in harmonic minor, the 2 strongest modes are the 1 and the 5. Okay, in this case, harmonic minor and Phrygian dominant. Okay, so in this case, I'm at D, and I need there to be 3 modes, right? So I'm just going to kind of jump from the 1 to the 3 to the 5, which is where that other mode is. So that's a quick way. I'd have to work it up in speed and stuff, but that's a quick way I could kind of come up with that. And I probably wouldn't have come up with that if I was, I don't reach for 9 a lot. It's the picking's complicated because it's triplets of triplets in a way. It's triplets in 3/4 in a sense. So we're just 8 notes in 9/8. Doesn't really matter. But if you're alternate picking it, it's down, up, down, and then the next note would be every set of 9, since 9's an odd number, is going to start in the opposite picking direction. So it gets complicated once you're dealing with, there's a string skip in there. By the time you're doing 3 notes per string across 3 strings, that's, it gets more complicated because your picking keeps going in reverse too. So that's a really challenging one right there. And it just made it even more challenging by trying to keep moving, jumping over, not to the next mode, but skip over a mode every time too, just in order to end on the 5 mode. So anyway, I'm not making all of the decisions random again, but it just helps a little bit. So yeah, 28. That's how I would approach that. All right, let's roll it again. See what curse I give myself here. 0, 0, 7. Oh, well, that's easy, isn't it? Wait, yeah, that's 0, 0, 7. So 7. All you got to do is come up with a phrase of 7 notes. Let's see what mode I'm in. What key I'm in, rather. 2. B. No. B flat. Sorry, A, B flat. So 7. All right. That's a short-ass phrase, so let's make it really count, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just going for like odd times 7. Now, the real test is do it in a sequence, move it to another mode. Do octave, 8, 7, 5, 6, 3, 2. So there's no 4 in there. So I should remember that. That helps. Let's move it to the 2. Stretch is rough, but it's a cool sound, I think. So it's a fun way to kind of, I don't have any 7/8 beats, otherwise I would just load it right up. Wait, doing that? Hold on, maybe I do. I do. All right, let's try it. 7/8 groove. Oh geez, that's how many speeds I decided to include. Not a lot. Let's see. All right, I'm going to go slow here. Go easy on myself with the the odd time. Dun, dun. Ah, it's so hard. Ah, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that was my attempt at it. It works kind of nice there. I'm glad I do have a... I guess it was a 5/8 groove I didn't really make. Okay, well, neat. Anyway, yeah, that kind of works. It's a sort of proggy kind of thing. So don't forget, odd time is still totally valid. Anyway, just talking about that kind of stuff, there's so many cool things you can kind of do with this. 20. I'm trying to remember what did I have for 20? Ah, yes. Nothing. I didn't come up with something for 20, but it could be phrase length. It could be, what is it? 2. That's short. That's not good enough. 3. All right, screw this today. Anyway, just illustrating what can happen. Keep them in the tube or whatever you got so that you don't lose them, because you wouldn't want to lose the ability to make these decisions at random. So just keep it all where you can find it again. So that is the next one. That is the one I've thought through the most in the past week. As you saw before, of course, as I showed you in the beginning here, the rhythmic dominoes is always an option too. There are a lot of dominoes in a set of dominoes, however, and I will say the downside to that one is they take up a lot of room. So, you know, of course you can just throw them on the floor and grab one and don't look, you know, and grab a couple, grab several. But the next one, okay, this is another one that can get a little messy. Playing cards, okay? And I wasn't sure if I actually had a complete, I don't know if I had a full deck to be playing with here tonight, so I just bought these a little bit before, just to make sure, just to do this. I haven't fully thought this one out a lot here, okay? I will say this is just something else. It's another way that you can use something lying around your house to make some decisions for you. Let's see. Key, ace through king. Okay, same thing that we just did with the 12-sided die. Well, ace through king is actually 13. So maybe something's redundant. I don't know. Let's say ace is, I don't know, A, right? Good place to start, right? And then 2 is B flat, and so on. Just chromatically up from A. And by the time you get to queen, that's basically G sharp, and K would just be A again. So I don't know. Maybe you can shift the whole thing over. You know, choose some other way. Maybe grab some dice and see how far to transpose it. You know, you know, if you find something where it seems to lean a little too much toward not being random anymore, do something to randomize it. So anyway, I've already shuffled these, but let's do it one more time. So what's nice here is you also get 4 suits. So let's see what else we could do here. Type of scale. Okay, so this is nice where you could actually just pick your 4 favorite scales, okay? And just whatever. I think spades will be natural minor. Clubs will be harmonic minor. Hearts will be melodic minor. And diamonds will be Hungarian minor. Natural, harmonic, melodic, Hungarian. And I have them written down, so I won't forget that. And let's just see what happens. One more shuffle here. Get it random AF over here. And then what do we got? 9 of spades. 9. Okay, so again, the number is what key? So A plus 8 is 9. So F. Spades was natural minor. Neat. So now I'll draw another card, and this one will have no bearing on the key or the type of scale, but it will be the rhythm. 5. All right. So let's say it's 5/8. Looks like I come in odd time again. F minor, F natural minor, and 5. Oh, nope, that's natural minor. That's one way you could do it, right? So anyway, yeah, that's one way I thought of it, okay? And now, I guess the next thing I was going to say, I haven't really fully thought through playing cards and how this could work, but I'm sure that, you know, with a little bit of thought, you can think of, you know, the 4, what else is there 4 of? There's 4 fretting fingers, which we talked about when we got into the polyhedral dice. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, you could reassign some of these other cards, the face cards here. So we got a jack of diamonds. You could just get random with it, you know. But anything you can think of. And again, I haven't thought it through. So if you're thinking of anything right now, what comes to mind? 4. So we have 4 of your favorite types of scales. We have, or I don't know. You could pull several cards out and sum it up and go to a certain mode or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't fully thought it out. All right, but you do have two basic things. You have a number value from 1 to 13, basically, and you also, oh, you could use rhythm. I forgot you have rhythm, right? Which I just used the 5 as a rhythm thing there too. But you have numbers and you have suits, so you can use any combination of those that you like. Okay, so I'm going to add just one more facet, and this is probably maybe one of the things that you might not have around your house, but I do, and it's only a little different from playing cards, and it's tarot cards. So these are also, all of this can be bought on Amazon, so you don't have to leave your house or anything for this. I've just always had some around because I used to have this exact same deck, and I mistreated them, and they got all bent up and ruined, and probably lost a couple, and probably spilled some crap on them. And I just wanted a nice new fresh deck. So, what's nicer about tarot cards? They're still just playing cards from the purpose of what we're doing with them right now. Okay. What's really cool is you still have your 4 suits. They're no longer, the 4, not quite what we're used to. They're, cups, wands, I forget. I'm sorry. See, I'm really not. Swords and discs. But what's really cool is that you have a 5th type of suit, which is different from the others, and they're called the trumps, or the major arcana. And that's where the famous death card, number 13, actually is. Let's see. I think have these ever even been shuffled? There we go. There's the devil, number 15. And I have to say, no, it doesn't look like they've ever been shuffled. So here's death. Anyway, so if you're not catching on to what I'm saying, this extra dimension is on top of having an extra entire suit with 22 cards in it, on top of your 52, you also have pictures and names to these cards. They're not just, they're not. All right, so like, am I missing something? That's 10. There's still like 9 more under there. They have names, and they have pictures. So this goes beyond. There we go. Fool. 0 through 21. Okay, so let's look at just what's different about this deck of cards. Since I just talked about playing cards, and again, tarot cards they were originally playing cards, guys. And there was not originally a divination thing. That actually was born out of the 19th century. So let's just pretend they're still just playing cards. I don't think we're going to burn. It doesn't make the future. It's supposed to just tell the future. So don't worry. You're not going to burn down any buildings by playing this way. Unless you're playing is really fire, right? Well, anyway, sorry. I had to excuse me on that. So we have 0, the Fool. What's nice about it, again, there are 22 major arcana, and, well, they're numbered from 0 to 21, though. 21. That's a multiple of what again? 3 and 7. What is 7 to us in music? That is 7 modes. So what if we treat 21, well, and 0 is, I don't know, start over. Or do something random. I don't know. Let's omit 0 and just deal with our positive, our non-zero 1 through 21. What if we do the first 7? The 7 modes will be natural. I'll do the same order: natural minor, then harmonic minor, then melodic minor. Okay. So what if I just omit all this other, the rest of the typical playing cards, equivalent being your spades, clubs, and such. Anyway, I could just pull one at random. 8. All right, that's the 8th mode. So that actually puts us at the first mode of harmonic minor, which is great. It's called adjustment. That's kind of neat. Oh, sorry, I'm all looking at here. Why don't you look at it? Yeah, you see what's going on here. And this can also spark some thoughts. Let's see, what was that? 8. Wow, it's shuffled now, folks. 7, 8. There we go. Anyway, adjustment. 8 was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So 8 is 1 in the next set. So that would be harmonic minor. Did I pick I don't know. Again, I haven't thought this through that much, but I'm just thinking of some possibilities. Again, it's just about numbers, So, it could be harmonic minor in that case, and adjustment. So I don't know. Maybe I'll switch between different keys. Maybe I'll do something with. Let's look at some other card. That is 16. It's 8 again. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that's up to the second mode of melodic minor. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 15 would be 1. 16 is 2. So I'm in the first mode of harmonic minor and the second mode of melodic minor. All right. Let's just say, where's my dice? Never mind. All right. Anyway, I was going to go where I already was with F. All right. So first mode of harmonic minor. I don't know what. I'll just do 9 notes from. And then. So yeah, that's kind of fun. That's a nice sound. It gets a little bit outside of that typical harmonic minor only kind of sound, but it starts it off on that nice dark tone. But it sort of lightens it. I don't know. It's a really interesting kind of sound, and I wouldn't have played that just now. Well, maybe one day I might have. But anyway, just randomizing your decision making and your criteria. Again, if it doesn't speak to you to make it a game, make it a tool. Doesn't matter. You don't have to do it this way. In fact, if you don't have any of these items in your house, that's still fine, because I'm going to show you one last thing that you can do. And you hop on the old Google, and all you have to do at that point is look up a random number generator or name generator. It could be a wheel. I've used this sometimes. We have I don't know if you're familiar with the buy nothing movement, but people in that, basically it's a whole movement where you shouldn't typically, where ideally you don't actually have to buy anything, because someone else is probably getting rid of something you need. And so for years now, especially since the start of the pandemic, our household's been doing great with the buy nothing group. We get rid of things we don't need anymore, and somebody else, unless it's, you're not getting rid of trash. I don't need this anymore. We have a kid, so those phases of your kids, they move. If you have kids, they go by kind of fast, especially in the beginning. So from a 1-year-old to a 2-year-old to the 3-year-old to a 4-year-old. That's a lot of phases in there. Anyway, though. In order to pick, when you say you're giving something away, you're going to get a bunch of people saying they're interested, and you can make up your own criteria, but a lot of people use these, randomization things. So let me hop over here, and let's say random number generator. See, I might have looked that up before. 2. All right. So now, I think our big task here, let's say, let's make it, first of all, let's pick a key. So 1 to 12. 6. That was D minor again. I did that already. Let's do it again. Give me another one. 7. Okay. E flat. That's fine. Okay, now, let's say between 1 and 4, that same grouping of scale types. Okay. E flat's our root note. Fun for me, that's fun on a standard tuned guitar, because it forces me to get away from open strings a little bit. Now, the next one I'll do is pick a scale type. So I just want that to be between 1 and 4. Natural minor, harmonic minor, melodic minor, or Hungarian minor. And grab the correct mouse. 4. Okay, so that's going to be Hungarian minor. E flat Hungarian minor. That'll sound... And then the mode, so 1 through 7. 7, all right. Nope. Oh, let's do something rhythmic. 1 and 12. Haha. 6. Good. That's what I wanted it to be anyway. I'll be honest. I was I was hoping for something. I should have bet money on that. No. Go to the 7th, not the 1st. There's the root, there's the 7. And I'm just using a sequence now, which is 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. And it's a really handy thing to do on 3 notes per string. And just transfer that across the entire scale. Oop. That's one way you could do it, right? And so, I can't say that I've quite done that before. I've definitely used that sequence in that way across different 3-note per string scales, but not in that key and not in that particular type of scale. Actually, I haven't really done that with Hungarian minor before either. And I know that I haven't because it's new. I can tell it feels new. So anyway, yeah, just kind of fleshing out some things. Look, we're right at the 1 hour mark just about. So we got like 5 more minutes. But anyway, I just wanted to share this. This is something that I truly have never heard anybody ever talk about before. Not patting myself on the back too hard about it. Just, I didn't even actively think it up. I was friggin' sleeping. I was dreaming when the idea of turning it into a game first occurred to me. So, I can only take so much credit for it. But you heard it here. You can randomize things, certain aspects of your decision making, to take them out of your grasp and let it just be something that's done for you. I forgot the Fool. So might as well keep this fresh new pack of tarot cards fresh. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. In my future, I see guitar practice for you. Ah, there it is. See? I hope I'm not wrong. Okay, so that's pretty much it for tonight, though. But I hope that you found this amusing, inspiring, interesting. Hope I made you go, okay. And then make you start rummaging through your stuff and see if you got any of these things. But yeah, I think my favorite by far is the polyhedral dice, because you can get so high in the numbers that you can do. I mean, like, seriously, I was really rolling the dice there when it came to those 10-sided dudes, because I mean, seriously, what if I came up with 99? I need to come up with like 33 beats of triplet phrases, I guess, right? So anyway, it's just doing quick math on the fly. Just what's the first multiple of something nearby? If it was 98, maybe I might have done something else like 95 and throw 3 lead-in notes, or maybe 2 lead-in notes and a final note, right? So I like to have a final note at the end of my phrases. But yeah, I mean, that could have gotten really out of hand there, and so you could have been sitting here for a good portion while I try to think up, 33 beats of triplet phrases there, We don't need that, all right? So anyway, yeah, I didn't do that. But anyway, I do think that the polyhedral dice are definitely a good thing to have for this kind of activity. And just, keep them on hand where you can find them. Keep them in your guitar stuff, unless you like gaming, then just keep them with your games and you'll know where to find that. But, I don't actually play games, so to me, this is purely a musical device for me. Again, dominoes, may all of these things suddenly have a whole new layer of meaning for you, because, again, anything that can randomize what you're doing. I love playing those dark modes. So do I. I really like those. I picked those 4 because they're my 4 favorites. They're my 4 go-tos, I think. Natural minor is my default, although harmonic minor is probably more often what I actually play. So that was automatically going to be the next one. And I kind of like melodic minor lately. I mean, the last couple of years, I find myself more drawn to melodic minor because it's almost unexpected, because it's not as dark. And so when you go dark, you get to get really, really dark. But then, something like, not as dark as Hungarian minor. That's a very exotic sounding minor type of scale. So, but it's, it could be any other scales though too. So don't let that, I'm going with stuff that I happen to like, but it could be like scales that you want to explore more, like that you never use maybe. If you're using like the augmented scale, half step, step and a half, alternating over and over from A. No. Right, something like that. That's the augmented scale as a 3-note per string pattern. It actually repeats exactly. Your half step is down at the bottom part, but it's basically put your fingers 4 frets apart. Well, put your higher finger 4 frets higher than the other. So if you're at 5, this will be at 9. Your half step is above the 5 on the lower string, and it's just below the 9 on the next string. And then just move up 2 frets. Then up 3 frets. It's exactly the same thing. It's only a 6-note per octave scale. So it's what we would call a hexatonic scale, and it happens in perfect octaves because 3 notes per string times 2 strings is 6. So every 2 strings, it starts over a new octave. Something like that. Just grab stuff you don't deal with much, and that's a nice way to also explore scales that you maybe need to spend a little bit more time. Like I'd really like to try working out the whole tone scale, which is another hexatonic scale. A, 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 right? So yeah, just a lot of cool stuff you can do with just make lists, number them, and then use these various number generating methods, games, whatever, to come up with things and make the decisions for you. It can be really, really fun. Used to hate the 3-note. It can be hard, man. There's a lot of crazy stuff, and that I'll return one last time to that other. I guess I closed it already, but the practice randomizer. Let's go ahead and load that up one final time here. It's nice. Who knows what it's going to give me here? This is my tapping minor pentatonic 3-note per string. 3-note per string on the fretting hand, plus 1 extra tap note. And I'm supposed to do the... I'm not doing that. I don't feel like that right now, but that's something you could totally do, right? So, I mean, it could maybe be... So... Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. There's the sequence, right? So anyway, yeah, it kind of works out really well with that one. It's hard. It's really got to... I'm not very good at the hammer-on from nowhere to start on a new string without triggering all kinds of extra string noise. So I'm not going to do that right now. But anyway, just... That's one more thing I've never done just by using the practice randomizer. So again, it doesn't have to be a game. It could just be a tool. I used basic web software. This is called Drupal. It's similar to WordPress. It has a plugin called Views that lets me show you different content from the website, and I set both sides to random. Show me a random sequence and show me a random fretboard pattern. Ta-da! And I get outside of my own head all the time. Every time I load this, I think maybe 5 times in many, many, many years have I ever seen some combination that I already do, because it's just, I play all these scales all the time, and I play all these sequences all the time, but I don't always play all those scales with those sequences the same way. So this is a great way to get outside your own head. And so, I like using the randomization thing, functions anywhere you can find them. So in the website, it's built right into the guitar practice tools here. So yeah. Used to hate playing 3-note per string, then down, up 1. Oh yes, right. The well Yeah, a lot of cool stuff you can, yeah. Yeah, a lot of that would be the sequence of thirds as I usually think of it, but it would be more like, you know, yeah. All right. So anyway, on that note, though, I do have to get going. Hopefully, you've also seen the new thing that if you're watching on YouTube, that's awesome. You can actually now go to ShredMentorOnline.com/live every Tuesday night and watch this right there. If you're already a student who is enrolled, you can also see a massive list of every other episode of this ever, because I finally got caught up in listing them all on the site, and you can watch them again right away, right there, with what they were about. So if you're forgetting which one it was, it'll make it a little bit easier. And there is a nifty tool. I'm trying to remember real quick. Let me see. I don't know if it shows this here, but I have, yeah, it doesn't show my bookmarks, but there is a site called, no, that's not the one, summarize.tech. That's T-E-C-H. I didn't even know .tech was a domain type, but go to summarize.tech, and I found that it actually gives a really good description, a summary, hour by hour of any YouTube link, which is really cool. I tried it on one of my videos just because I wanted to see if it would give a JSON-like answer to things I'm sorry, there's two, I'm mixing it with another one. It gave a very accurate breakdown of what I talked about for an entire hour, and it only took a few seconds to create the summary, it means it's scanning the audio of that video very, very fast. So summarize.tech. I'm really big on AI, by the way, so I'm not among those calling for, feeling like it's, doom on its way. I think it's a really promising thing, and it's just going to shake a lot of things up and change things, so maybe that is intimidating to some people, but I think it's really exciting. I will talk about the other thing real quick, too, AI-wise. There's another one called Transcribe. It's almost like transcribe, where somebody did a typo where the C should have been and put a V in there. But Transcribe, V, I guess, for video. But it's ask any video a question, which is really, really cool, too. You only get, these are both free to use for like a very limited number of uses. But I think they're really fascinating. It's so cool. And I on the other one, summarize.tech, you get like it renews every like week or something like that. But Transcribe, this was cool. This is the one I was accidentally recapping, but I went to one of my ShredMentor Live videos, which happened to go a little over an hour, and I asked it a question, and it answered in a very JSON-like fashion. And that was like, okay, you win. You win points with me, because I, as you know from watching this show, I have my very own unique opinions on certain things, and they clash rather harshly with what most people tend to think they're supposed to do. And so I was very happy that it answered in its own words a paraphrasing of what I actually said. So both of those, I'm going to add them to the chat real quick, because I think it's just too cool. Oh, sorry. Yep, this is my accidental plug for a Total Artist Development System, because I typed a capital T. Transcribe. I don't know, .com? I don't know. Hold on, let me see. Sorry, lost it there. Let's see. Let's go to AI Transcribe. Let me just show you this thing over here. It's really cool. Transcribe.com. Okay, cool. .com. And I know this has nothing directly to do with, music, but if you want to get more, see, right at the bottom of the page, built by Zahid to make learning on YouTube 10 times more productive. I happen to agree. I think this is a great tool. And the other one is, as I said earlier, it was summarize.tech. And in both cases, all you do is just type the URL of the YouTube video, and there you go. So anyway, yeah, check those out. I have no affiliation to both of them. I'm just a really big fan of what I'm seeing coming out in the world of AI. It's overwhelming to see how much we are entering the future, how quickly and how overwhelming it is. Like last year, we started hearing about AI like a lot. It's already been on the the horizon for quite a while here, but we've been hearing about it like a lot in 2022 and early in 2023 here. It's only March, and like I subscribe to a daily newsletter, and I can barely keep up with all the tools that there are already. And we hear about the big ones, Midjourney and ChatGPT, and they're both really cool. They deserve all the attention, but it's like, damn, dude. So anytime I find out about a tool that I think can help you, because I'm using AI all over the place already right now. It's really helpful. It's a great tool to me. I think it's a fantastic thing that we're getting this, and I get why some people are scared that it's coming for their jobs. But it's when I generate a picture that doesn't have 13 fingers on it, when it's supposed to be a human being, then maybe start worrying about your art job. But really, that's what Photoshop's for. You still need a person to fix that kind of stuff and rethink the idea, and it's all source material. I mean, sometimes it just churns out a great one and you don't need to do anything in terms of artwork, but ChatGPT is also a good way to get your thoughts together. I'm writing lyrics with it, it wouldn't know what to do with my idea, and I'm not going to put it in my song without it being excellent, because I have standards. So I think they're just fantastic tools that are just we finally have our own robots that can help us, like we were supposed to, like the Jetsons promised. Anyway, so I'll just leave it like that. I don't think they promised us anything in the Jetsons. I think that would be a misinterpretation of what that show was trying to say. Anyway, I'm going to let you go. I got to go. It's already 11 minutes past when I'm supposed to get the hell off here. But anyway, thank you all for joining me here. Try this stuff out, hop on Amazon, get yourself some polyhedral dice. They're really good. It's my favorite one out of all of these so far, and I think there's a lot you can do with it. And email me if you think of any cool things that I haven't talked about here tonight. Mike, thanks for joining me tonight. If you were not in the chat tonight, thank you for watching without having to be part of the chat anyway. I hope that these give you some ideas. I hope that you were just playing ideas on your guitar based on what I rolled the dice or pulled a card or whatever. Anyway, though, use this stuff. Try it. It can add a sense of wonder to what is going to happen, and adds some very much needed problem solving to the process of practicing. This isn't about just repeating stuff, rote repetition. It's about problem solving. Everything about technique and playing is problem solving. It's not just you're doing it well or you're doing it badly. I mean, look, you're probably doing it somewhat well, and something needs an improvement, and what's the source of the problem? What problems are you experiencing over and over? Good, pinpoint the source of that so that it doesn't happen over and over again, and you just got better at it. Problem solving. I know problem solving isn't fun sounding, but make it a game and it will be. Ta-da! Sure thing, Mike. Thank you for joining me, man. That means a lot to me. Anyway, I will be back next week unless something happens and it isn't possible. Anyway, thank you for joining me tonight, everybody, and